Okay, let's continue with our Diaspora series, people. Chapter 40. The previous series, we talked about education, and you must have been intrigued or surprised about my French. Not excuse my French, but my French. I'm a speaker of many languages: Swahili, English, Luganda, Lusoga. I had started learning Chapadola. Of course, when it comes to Western Uganda, Kinyankore, Ruchiga, you understand them. I understand everything. Many languages in Uganda, that's what I mean. Linguistics. What are your linguistic skills? When you speak several languages, do you know what happens? It layers down your reasoning. It layers it up on top of each other. Layer after layer. If I had something in Lusoga, I would understand it in Luganda, then probably translate it into English. So you have 3 layers. Oh, my friend.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm tired now.
You're tired?
And you didn't stop me?
Yeah, we have some at 5:30. Yeah? See you soon.
See you soon.
Okay. So, 3 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, growing up, now I'm telling you all this, which you don't know. We had, or we have, what they call the official language. Official language, English. In schools, offices, government, everything is in English. At home, we spoke Luganda. So, do you see how that plays against each other? I was fortunate enough, you don't know this as well. My early school begins in Kenya, Montessori. If you don't know what a Montessori is, it is where they take kids to play. So I was studying with diplomats' kids, ambassadors' kids, high-ranking people in Kenya. Let's see you, man. Well done. Yeah. You talk of any high-ranking people in Kenya in 1975, 1976, 1977, 1978, right up to 1980, when we returned to Uganda from exile. In 79, we skipped town. We ran. We went to exile. So when I returned to Uganda, from what I remember, I was sent to Chitanti Primary School, then later on transferred to Buganda Road Primary School. That's how I ended up in Buganda Road. Then I began to say, what? Going to Chitanti. I was in Chitanti Primary School for 1 term. And then I joined Buganda Road, 2nd term, 1981. 2 terms I went to P2. Mrs. Halera Agatha. In P1 I was with Mrs. Sempebwa. Yes, she was my first class teacher. P1B. If you remember P1B, we used to be behind Mr. Almeida's office. There used to be a small building there at the back. This is where the house to the next door. There was a house next door. I don't know whether it was his brother or his, I don't know. Mr. Almeida never had children. So, but that guy was more or less like his son. Yeah, it was like his son, because me, I remember in the 80s, he used to frequent Mr. Almeida's residence. Mr. Almeida stayed in the school. I'm talking about Buganda Road. Mr. Almeida, Joseph Almeida. If you come into the main building, that is looking out into the road, that big building, on the right, in the corner with the balcony, that was Mr. Almeida's residence. But he used to frequent the house next door. There was a house in the wall, in a chain link perimeter fence, that he used to go there, and that's the son, or so-called son, used to stay. Because I remember this very well, because Mr. Almeida was very close to my family. My mom, you know, and I had the chance even to go inside and see him in his house. I remember what was it. It was something to do with something, you know, school. Yeah, but take the books in there, blah blah blah, things like that. Yeah. But anyway, so P3, P2, P3. It was Mrs. Halera Agatha. P4, Mr. Kahuma was the class teacher. P5, Mr. Bwenje, Francis Bwenje. Yeah, then Mrs. Nakamia, Harriet Nakamia, who later on married Mr. Kasisiri. P6D, that is 1986. Then they mix us up, because after the overthrow of Tito Okero, no, after the overthrow of Obote, many students never returned. So the numbers were short in different classes going forward. So they had to mix us up. So that's how I end up in 6D. The block on the other side, you know where we used to have the assembly? The block behind, in the very corner, 6D. Is it Jukiravi too, you know? I remember. I can't forget Mr. Tindikawa. And of course, primary 7. Then, of course, I go to 7P. PQRS, whatever, PQR. I was always in the top stream. Top. 1B, bright, whatever, 2B up to P7. Top. Then I saw Burundi. I was a very, very bright student. Primary. Very bright student. I was in the top 10 students in school. And I would end up wanting to go to SMAC, St. Mary's College in Suvi. You know that story very well. And what happened? How UNEB computer, Crested Towers, gave me Busoga College in Mwiri. Now, I didn't know. I found out later. I've told you this before already, that there was a quota system. Anglican, Catholic, Muslims, Chiburi, you know, we didn't know all these things. So, despite the fact being one of the top students in the country, I couldn't go to St. Mary's College because we were not Catholic. We were Anglican. Mr. Misairi Kauma, Bishop Misairi Kauma. He was an OB of Busoga College Muiri. I think also part of the UNEB decision making and all that. But I remember getting my envelope. Remember that brown envelope from UNEB? Ebintu yange nana jebiri. Teyali ntikeguse obuse kaji. No. Merit. Selection, Ministry of Education, index number. I remember even we went to Crested Towers, Ministry of Education, to check for the results and get the pass slip. So if you didn't go to, when they announced the results, you went to Ministry of Education, then you would check and see on the very, very big notice board on the wall. You only had your index number to see your results, so nobody would know who is who. But each school would be catalogued they wouldn't, each school had a number. They wouldn't name the school. So you only went knowing your number of your school and your index number. That's the number you use for your name. Yeah. Then I checked out my results. And I would wait for my result slip, which you would get from the school. And then, how are you? Doing the class? Okay. Good. I'll see you later. Yeah. So, selection results for which schools? And then you get the envelope. Admission. There was no way you could go to a traditional school without being admitted via your name. Era, when I enrolled in Busoga College Mwiri, 1988, May the 5th, we were 40 students in our class. 1B. There was 1M, I don't know how those came, 1Y, 1C. Nenga abajira ku UNEB, we were 40. Selection. Of course, now the school had a direct entry admission, which they gave to other students. So you can imagine being in class with the 40 students, the best in the country. The competition we had was fierce. Andrew Kagoda, Danton Mushabe, Ishagara Solomon, Kanika Moses, bona power brokers, sawe, ba doctor bani bona, ba engineer bali mbintu bingi, ba kegus. Senior one. I remember when I arrived senior one, there's a picture I share. Ngandine John Mwanda, ne Ivan Seguya. Ivan Seguya was ahead of me. But the day I arrived in Mwiri, he was the student allocated to take me to my house. And we became friends for life throughout my O-levels. They had him court's house to take suitcase. That was the trademark. They had suitcases, Samsonite, Zario, but due to the school regulations, they insisted that you have to bring a metal box. With a padlock on, and you store all your stuff in there. You would get a locker in senior 3, senior 4, senior 3, senior 4. You got your student locker. So I think you get the whole picture there. Education, the formative years. At the primary, I was the smartest student all year round for 7 years. Always smart, very well pressed uniform. That's primary. From what I remember, I could have been a class monitor. Yes, how are you? I'm coming. I never became anything in school, in primary. Like class monitor, Patrick Muyinda was timekeeper. Uhuru yugemula boyo MP is it Kampala. Yali head boy. Yali classmate one. Uhuru. Salim, twamwitanga Salim Uhuru. Yali head boy in 1986. I remember him very well, Salim. Yali so famous in school. Remember story of Salim? He was notorious. He was known by every student in the primary. Sabe anything like, okay, I came close to being a class lead, class monitor, baby, class gundi, mo P5, Miss English subject. I loved English very much as a subject. Mrs. Harriet Nakamyanga joining Buganda Road. She was a student teacher. I think yava ku Shimoni. Nanti abasomesa bonna babagabiranga ku Shimoni aba Kampala. Shimon Demonstration School. It had been built as a template on which all other schools would be best. Era bwotunira amasomero gonna agaali nga, let us call it Central Region. Nakasero, Bati Valley, Buganda Road, Kiagwe Road Primary School, Chitante. There were about 10 schools, very powerful schools in Kampala. Shimon, of course, then he had Nabugabo, Nachivubo settlement. Gachari amasomero. You people tell me. I might be telling you, and even don't even have a clue that these schools were there. Traditional schools. Hey, guys, for me, the whole country would come to stand still when they are going to release the results. The cream. See the way I said is the system. So tuyingira olevo kati ngedda omwana nabwe yamalanga senior 4 wali ochubye, you are more or less. Let me tell you this. Do you know that NTCs, National Teacher Training Colleges, used to take students at O level? O level students would go into teacher training, not A level. You need a degree. Degree for what? Nariye mwiri. Omusomesa Mrs. Kisache yava kaliro TTC. Mrs. Agaba yava kaliro TTC. Mrs. Abinacho yava kaliro TTC. Ngaba maze O-level. They were all-level students. Then you would go and do TTC for 2 years. Katimba maliza A-level 18-19. Ngaba somesa. Bali na ku government payroll. Temunala babintu mwe sinaba bulira bintu bye mutamanyi. Chambogo technical. Ikati je mwafula university. Ngaba na olumala senior 4. Ngato yise genda ku A-level. Ngogena mu technical institute ngoyiga amasanyalaze, oyiga okubajja, oyiga skills zebayitanga tertiary skills. Do you know what I'm talking about, people? Salam gamen kebusa ayogera ebintu ebitaliyo, ebintu byaliyo. Nakawa, the one you call MOOBs. Yani Nakawa College of Commerce. Nge semester commerce. Nengo or to join in Nakawa. Gomaze ere olevo. That you're going to ask me. Nti elevo ya ina mugasochi. Elevo was senior school. Niranga ogenda ku university oba college. I know, I'm just explaining to you. Kati kyali bwe kiti. The education had been based on one framework. You had comprehensive schools. Then you had modern schools. Kakati ge bayitangaga SSC, Kampala SS. Old Kampala SSC, St. Francis SSC, Kololo SS, Chitante High School, Kitante High School, Mutijukirere Chitante, Bali Chaliyo, Makerere High School, Makerere College. Hey, you people, you don't know these things. And then, so that you found your place. But the only thing about that system was it was faulty in the sense that, you know, discrimination in schools. You would know. Kakati abanchinyonyola entya. Nsimanyi na bwenchinyonyola naye nga mukitegedde. Those who know what I'm talking about, you're in the know. So that at the end of the day, education was a luxury. But there was room to accommodate everyone, you know. So there were always bursaries, there were always scholarships. You know what scholarships are? Scholarship and bursary. Bursary, they're helping you to pay your tuition. But to get a scholarship, you have to be above the rest. Scholarship program. Naye mwiri abana baalingayo ku scholarships naye nga temukimanyi. Busoga College mwiri old boys. Let me tell you, mukimanyi nti eriyo abaana baasigalanga ku ssomero during the holidays nga bakola ku ssomero. Hey, you don't know. Now I'm telling you. Nga bali ku work program, work study program, nga bya government. I never knew. But students never used to talk. You know, students never used to talk. So it was always hard to know. Because remember when we broke off for holidays, everybody went home. Then you came back at the beginning of the term. What else do you know that I've been at school? The only time I find out that that thing was going on was in our senior 4, second term. Ngandaba abana, but when they shouldn't be in school. Nga they are in school. Nga bakola. Baba yamba. So let me tell you, as I summarize, whatever shaped my direction back in the day was education. Education, it was the root foundation of where I am now. I loved school so much. And when I went to Kenya, hey, I brought a lot of competition in the university, academic, business studies, accounting and all that. I remember one Kenyan student, she was a girl. Sijamba Wulialinya. She used to rival me in accounts. Atenga njagala. Tulikuwa tunapendana kidogo kidogo. Unajua hizi maneno. Hati of course kati ku O level na abagezi ngaffe tuyitanso okuyiya sente zinga nkolera abaana waka ngamba kopera notes sinensi photocopy nga nenzitunda ku Makerere hayao. Entrepreneurship, my entrepreneurial skills come from far, man. I never missed any class in A level. History, economics, literature, divinity, LD was my combination. And I enjoyed A level so much because I was paying my own tuition. My mom had refused to pay my tuition. She said, if you want to study, you pay for yourself. And I paid for myself. I was working. But she gave me back all that money when I went to Kenya. She opened up an account for me in Post Bank and deposited. Ah, man, how are you?
Good, thanks, how are you?
I'm good. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, right?
Yep. And she deposited today's money to be about 10 million. Nangamba anti sente zizo eza school fees webale kusoma naye nagala ozikose bulungi But now I was very savvy with money. I knew how to handle money, and it would explain a lot of what happened next in Kenya. Uni mudosi, uko na pesa. Muganda uko na pesa. Anyway, people, we shall continue this series, Diaspora. A bit of recapping back to back. Things that are untold. Are we good? You have to understand what I'm talking about, people. Don't just say, this man is saying this, is saying that. You know, it's not saying this or saying that. It's about what you think you want to know. Chilaba. And that would determine my coming to the UK many years later. I came to study. Many people would ask me, but you already rich, why were you bothering yourself, what? I had unfinished business. Growing up, I told you, it was instilled in me that I will study in the UK. And it was always a very big motivating factor. Tujja kusomera Bulaaya gwe wasomye bulungi nnyo Patrick. My mom was already rising in the ranks, corporate, Uganda development, nga babasasulira school fees, be baali nga mu sente, be bali mu budgets and everything. So it wasn't a question of how much, it was when. Are you finishing your studies? You go to London. Nakula engoye ziva London. Nakula buli kimu kiva London. Ffe engoye twayambalanga bya London, tetwayambala ku mivumba mwe muzijambadde. Engoye zantu ze bambaddemu. Never before. Suitcases nga ziva Bulaaya every Christmas. Baleeta abana abakyala mukono gya mama wange abasooka okusubula era nga n'engoye baleeta mukyala kyanda twakuleeteddeyo kino gitayo weegezeemuko abaana twabaletedde suitcases bingi nnyo kiraba akagaali rale bike P7 that's 1987 kava London. Birungi. Nice things, people.